Schön 3-Tage-Bad. Ach komm, behalten wir. Seemann. Nee. Aufgeknüpft. Freizeitanzug. Dunkler Anzug. Brauner Anzug. Grüner Anzug. Grauer Anzug. Heller Anzug. Bandit. Bauernkleidung. Also mir hat ehrlich gesagt der graue ganz gut gefallen. Den nehmen wir auch. Sie haben Schminkenoptionen oder Kleidungsstücke ausgewählt, die im Moment nicht zur Verfügung stehen. Daher wird sich Ihre Auswahl zurücksetzen. Lösen Sie diesen Fall, um weitere Kleidungsstücke... Ah, okay. Was haben wir denn jetzt an? Okay, wir haben das an, haben aber weder Bart noch... doof, aber okay. Immerhin haben wir den Anzug behalten. Gehen wir mal. Angezogen sind wir ja. Finde ich ganz cool, dass man während der Ladezeit im Notizbuch ein bisschen stöbern kann. Finde ich echt gut gemacht und sehr gut verbunden, weil er sitzt ja dann erstmal eine Weile in der Kutsche und fährt dahin.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
X zu Lestrade nach Woodmans Liefern abgeschlossen.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Also irgendwie alles, was wir sehen, ist ein Hinweis und an diesen Garten erinnere ich mich auch.
Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Holmes? Nein, wir wollen nicht weggehen. Ah, wundervoll. Wir können rennen. Wir können nicht in den Garten. Hier können wir auch nicht rein. Kannst du dir hier noch irgendwas angucken? Dass du sagst, okay, hier ist noch das und das, was dir das und das erzählt. Anscheinend nicht. Wie gesagt, zu Lestrade will ich als letztes gehen. Weil ich möchte mich... Oh, RB. Steinweg. Oh, Schuhabdrücke.
These footprints appear to be quite large.
Die habe ich jetzt also schon gefunden. Okay. Ich sehe mich hier ein wenig um. Hier sieht er erstmal nichts. Ich will gucken halt, ob es einen Unterschied macht, aber nein.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Irgendwas Ungewöhnliches gibt es einen Gärtner.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Irgendwas Ungewöhnliches.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Abend des Mordes.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and, oh dear,
Hatte er Besucher?
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
Ah, Haubenweise. Es wird alles einfacher werden.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Wählen Sie den Beweis aus, der die Aussage Ihres Gesprächspartners widerspricht, um die Ermittlungen fortzusetzen. Gepflegter Garten, Pilgerfahrt, Profil des Opfers, unbekannte Abdrücke. Ich würde sagen, gepflegter Plymouth. Ach so, wahrscheinlich die Pilgerfahrt.
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see. These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool. What a terrible way to die.
Okay, ich würde sagen, wir fangen hier in der Ecke an.
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.